Breaking: Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari has just been declared illegal after post-race checks in Abu Dhabi. The FIA uncovered shocking irregularities in the car's floor that could lead to a massive disqualification. Inside Ferrari, chaos is spreading. Team engineers are now under fire for what could be a fatal setup error. And this scandal might not just end Hamilton's season, it could destroy his legacy at Ferrari before it even begins. Subscribe now so you don't miss how this bombshell changes the 2025 season and what it means for 2026. The 2025 Formula One season came to a dramatic end in Abu Dhabi, but no one expected it to explode after the checkered flag. In a stunning post-race revelation, the FIA has confirmed that Lewis Hamilton's SF25 failed technical inspections due to illegal floor wear. Just when Ferrari hoped to close the season with dignity, they now face the humiliation of a regulatory breach that threatens everything they've built this year. Hamilton's car, according to official FIA documents, did not meet minimum plank thickness standards, a violation that leaves zero room for interpretation. This is not a gray area. It's a black and white infringement of the sporting code, and it may result in the total disqualification of his result from the race. For a driver who fought through a turbulent season, this isn't just a blow. It's a collapse of trust between him, the car, and the team tasked with delivering a legal package. Abu Dhabi has always been a pressure cooker for teams. The combination of low-speed corners, high-speed straights, and brutal curbs makes it one of the most punishing tracks for floor setups. Yet Ferrari took the risk. They lowered Hamilton's ride height to chase aerodynamic gains, knowing full well how tight the FIA's tolerances are. And now, that gamble has backfired catastrophically. What makes this even more serious is the split result between teammates. While Charles Leclerc's SF25 passed scrutineering, Hamilton's failed. That discrepancy has sent shockwaves through the paddock. It points to two very different setups inside the same garage, a strategy that many now see as reckless, especially under post-season scrutiny. If Ferrari deviated too far in search of performance, the decision-makers may soon be facing questions not just from the FIA, but from their own shareholders. Internally, this couldn't come at a worse time. Ferrari had already been under pressure after a season of inconsistency and technical errors. Frederic Vasseur had staked his leadership on stability and legality. But when the FIA steps in with official documentation confirming a rule breach, it becomes more than a team issue. It becomes an international sporting embarrassment. Sponsors are watching, rivals are circling, and fans are asking the hard questions. For Hamilton, this moment is devastating. After joining Ferrari with the hope of writing a final, glorious chapter to his career, he now finds himself in the middle of a storm not of his making. The driver does not control ride height. He doesn't determine floor wear. But is his name on the timesheets? Is his race under investigation? And if disqualification comes, it will be his legacy that takes the hit regardless of where the blame truly belongs. This is no longer just a post-race formality. It is a scandal unfolding in real time. And depending on how the FIA rules in the next few hours, it could reshape how teams operate heading into the 2026 regulation reset. The stakes are enormous, and Ferrari's next move may determine whether they go into the future as contenders or collapse under the weight of another technical failure. The problem didn't start when Hamilton crossed the finish line. It started long before inside the simulation rooms in Maranello. Ferrari engineers had been pushing the limits of floor clearance for weeks, convinced they could extract more performance by lowering the car's ride height without breaching regulations. The theory looked perfect on paper. But the problem with pushing the limit in Formula One is that there is no margin for error, and in this case, the limit pushed back. Hamilton's SF25 wasn't just slightly out of spec. According to the FIA's post-race inspection, the floor plank showed excessive wear far beyond what is permitted by Article 3.5.9 of the technical regulations. This isn't a minor tolerance issue. The minimum thickness exists for one reason: to ensure no team gains an unfair aerodynamic advantage by running their car dangerously low. The fact that the car failed in such a measurable way is an instant red flag, not just for Ferrari's legality, but for their engineering integrity. Worse still is the contrast with Leclerc's car, which passed the same inspection. It points to two fundamentally different setups being run on the same weekend under the same track conditions. That's not just risky, it's controversial. It means Hamilton may have been put in a compromised setup purely to chase short-term gains, despite known risks. That is a technical strategy failure, and one that opens Ferrari to internal scrutiny and external penalties. During the race, Hamilton repeatedly complained about rear-end instability over radio. At the time, commentators chalked it up to tire degradation. But with the benefit of hindsight, the symptoms match classic low ride height behavior: loss of traction, bottoming out, and unpredictable aero load under braking. The engineers had data. They had real-time feedback. But they failed to respond. That failure to act becomes the core of the problem. Not just what went wrong, but what was ignored. Ferrari's obsession with matching Red Bull's race pace has become increasingly visible in their setup decisions. In this case, it appears they went too far. They wanted to eliminate drag, improve tire life, and optimize top speed for Sector 2. But instead of a balanced car, they produced an illegal one. In the most high-stakes race of the year, they sacrificed legality for speed and got caught. Now the FIA is involved. The report is no longer speculation, it's an official breach. That changes the narrative completely. What might have been a quiet end to a long season has turned into a regulatory firestorm. The FIA has already launched a broader probe into whether Ferrari's simulation data was inaccurate or if the team knowingly pushed Hamilton's setup beyond compliance. Either outcome is devastating. And for Hamilton, this isn't just a team mistake, it's a personal loss. He trusted Ferrari to give him a car that could fight at the front legally. Instead, he now faces the possibility of having his final race results stripped, and worse, having his name attached to yet another technical controversy at the end of his career. The problem isn't just the wear on a piece of wood. The real damage is reputational, and it cuts deeper than any penalty ever could. Ferrari's engineering department did not stumble into this situation blindly. In Abu Dhabi, the margins are microscopic, and the track layout demands perfection. Sector 2, in particular, with its long straights and sharp braking zones, tempts every team to lower their ride height to the absolute minimum. A lower car means better aerodynamic efficiency, the floor sticks harder, the diffuser works better, and straight-line speed improves. But when that setup begins to wear down the plank excessively over 58 laps, it stops being clever engineering and starts becoming a calculated violation. What makes this more damning is the fact that Ferrari had ample warning. Free practice sessions showed notable signs of bottoming out on Hamilton's car. Sparks flew more frequently than expected. The audio from the cockpit confirmed high-frequency vibrations at the floor, a classic sign of excessive contact with the asphalt. Engineers are trained to detect these markers. So why was no setup correction made before qualifying or the race? That silence now echoes loudly inside Maranello. Let's talk about the component in question, the plank. It's not just a piece of wood bolted beneath the car. It is the FIA's regulatory control device, a passive, mechanical limit that prevents teams from running dangerously low. If it wears too thin, it signals one thing: the car has been scraping the ground too often, gaining downforce in a way that's illegal and unsafe. The SF25's excessive where it wasn't hidden in corner. It was found in central regions, meaning the floor was in contact with the tarmac at sustained high loads. That is not incidental. That is design-induced. And when the ride height is set too aggressively, the consequences ripple across every system. The rear suspension operates under greater stress. Tire wear accelerates. Braking zones become more volatile. That's exactly what we saw during Hamilton's race, a car that looked fast on paper but lacked consistency over long runs. The degradation wasn't just thermal. It was mechanical, generated by constant micro-impacts from a floor running lower than regulations allow. Engineers from rival teams, speaking off the record, noted during FP2 that Ferrari's floor appeared unusually close to the tarmac in camera shots and telemetry overlays. Red Bull and Mercedes reportedly flagged it internally, but made no formal protest, assuming Ferrari would self-correct before race day. That never happened. And now, with the FIA confirming the breach, those paddock whispers have been replaced by outright accusations of negligence or worse, intent. Ferrari's defense will likely cite the impact of track evolution or unexpected tire degradation as contributing factors. But the stewards won't accept that. Article 3.5.9 allows no flexibility. Teams are responsible for ensuring legal plank thickness after the race, regardless of track conditions. There is no clause for unexpected wear. This makes it incredibly difficult for Ferrari to mount any meaningful defense unless they can prove a manufacturing defect or structural failure, which seems unlikely given Leclerc's car passed. In the end, the engineering gamble Ferrari took in Abu Dhabi reflects a broader trend inside the team this season, chasing speed at all costs, even at the edge of legality. And in doing so, they've exposed not only Hamilton, but their entire technical structure. When engineering brilliance crosses the line into regulatory violation, the consequences are never just technical. They are political, reputational, and competitive. Ferrari is now on the wrong side of that line, and the FIA isn't blinking.